Well, it continues to be a delight to serve as your bishop. And this past year has seen many changes and many challenges. And we've been through a lot, but we've also been emboldened in our ministry. We've done some really amazing things this last year. When you think that a year ago we concluded our Diocesan Convention with a celebration of joy at Grace Utica, many of us online, but a lot of us on site as well. We gathered for the first time in a large group to celebrate convention. And now in this post-pandemic world, as we begin to move into new things, we continue this multiple way of gathering, both as an opportunity to be greener with less people driving, lowering our carbon footprint, but also being more inclusive to those who cannot make it or drive, that we have options for all of us to be included here. So our celebration of joy last year, we had presiding Bishop Michael Curry with us, speaking to us. We also had Bishop Doug Lucia of the Roman Catholic Church and Bishop Lee Miller of the Lutheran Synod, who took part in our celebration of joy. And we talked about many things at that celebration, most of which revolved around the way in which joy meets us after sorrow, the way in which we are called to repentance and we are called to be part of what God is doing. We talked about refuting the doctrine of discovery, and truth was spoken and shared. We talked about ways in which our diocese gathers and supports one another, especially in these trying times. And we also celebrated the many ways that God has blessed our diocese with the strength and resiliency of our parishes, and that we continue to serve Jesus. We continue to work seek a world healed by love, and we continue to live into our mission, our mission statement of learning to love God, one another, and all God's creation. And this year saw some challenging times. And so we gathered again for a substance use disorder workshop, where we learned more about what it is to be well, what it is to care for ourselves and our parishes, and how together we work for not only the sobriety, but the health of one another and all who gather in our spaces. And again, a gathering in which we shared truth, and a gathering in which we prayed together, a gathering in which we supported one another. This past year, I began to have a podcast. We tried new things. We had a summer series. We had lunch and learns during the summer. And if you've not seen those, I hope that you'll go to our website and click through to our YouTube channel and watch the recordings of those. Sharing of information. And together, we also continued to live into our rule of life. We prayed together. We listened. We connected. We spoke words of our faith, and we shared our faith, and we continue to respond to God's goodness. We planted gardens. We've taken new steps. We've been adaptive. Some of our parishes are seeing new growth, new understandings. And so just like those plants we planted in the gardens, we too are coming to life. And it's an exciting time in our diocese, and yes, it continues to be a challenging time. Christian nationalism is something we're talking about a lot these days because it's something that impacts us a lot. Our gospel of Jesus Christ is something we proclaim as people who are devoted to God. It's something that comes from our faith, something we live together with earnestness. And so this coming year, we have much to look forward to. We have been talking a lot about how we live our faith out loud, how we work together, what it is God is calling us to do in this time. And one of the things that really became clear as we've looked at this is our real need to rediscover what it is that we're about. Now that pandemic and closed buildings, and now that we can come back together on site and online, and we have these new adaptive ways of gathering and being, how might God be calling us as a diocese to live more fully into our calling to love God and love one another? And so to rediscover our faith means that we focus on those core values of our faith. This year, we're going to start Learning Communities Initiative again, something that was so successful before, and this time with a different little bit of a twist, that we rediscover our faith by coming together in communities. And Ken and Megan will talk about those more in just a bit. We also will continue to engage with our world, a world that is hurting, a world that is trying to understand itself, and a world that we too are trying to understand. We need each other now as much, if not more than ever, to be a shelter in a time, to be able to understand that it is not our agreement that joins us together, but the love of God, that it is not how much you and I can agree about political or partisan things, but how we can act socially to make sure that all people are loved, all beloved people of God. And in this new year, we have new dreams to dream. Some of our churches are growing and are trying new things. Some of our churches continue to be challenged by population downturns or broken relationships. So my prayer for us this year is that we'll also rediscover the connections we have as a diocese. I'm looking forward to having more opportunities for us to gather on site in different places around the diocese, to continue to utilize our gathering spaces that we formed during pandemic, but now can serve as hubs and places for us to gather as we continue our ministry together. There is much for us to do, and there is much hope in our diocese. And I'm so excited this year to be rediscovering with you how God continues to call us, continues to embolden us to be people of faith in this time. We have much to share with our neighbors. And so together we will indeed rediscover our faith and share our faith with those around us. I am deeply grateful to each of you for taking part in today. It is wonderful to see you gathered online. It is wonderful to have this time together. May God continue to guide us and lead us as we rediscover our faith in this coming year and as we work together to share the love of Jesus with our hurting world. God's blessings be with you and one another, and I'll see you soon.